Hey guys, welcome once again to the Transparency Project. I'm Tania, and this is Soletically Yours YouTube channel. My YouTube channel, obviously. This is me doing 100 days of transparency in order to combat depression. I've struggled with depression for years, but I'm not doing this for me. I'm doing this for you guys, as well as for in honor of a dear friend, a dear childhood friend who recently took her life because of depression. Asia Yvonne Marie Morgan, you're my strength. Okay, so I have like a whole opener for you guys. I'm sure if you've caught the other two days, you've heard the opener, but here it goes. Welcome to Soletically Yours. This segment is called 100 Days of Transparency, where those watching the station, whether it's on Facebook or you're going to watch it on Instagram or here on YouTube, you guys can participate by adding your questions below. If you have any questions that you would like to ask, or something that you've been wanting to hear about, or something you've been wanting to talk about and you just don't have anybody that you want to ask, whatever it is, no matter how sensitive, whether it's crazy, whatever it is, I'll talk about it. I'll tell you my version, my story, give it a little bit of courage in that situation. So the segment of this is to combat depression. Depression is fueled by secrecy and a lack of vulnerability, which is like one of my biggest struggles, is being vulnerable. So this is hard for me, but I'm kind of happy I'm doing it. Yeah. So let's combat the reality of depression with one truth at a time. Okay. So here's the numbers. And let's see what number we pick out of here. These numbers correspond with the questions that I've already been asked. I only have about 20, but considering the fact that I have to do this for 100 days, I'm gonna need some more questions, guys. Okay? All right. Let's see what number we're doing today. Uh-oh. Dropped 2. Okay. So y'all don't think I'm cheating. Question number 3. All right. Ooh, yay. A heavy one today. Jesus. All right. Have you ever experienced rape? Why do you think it is such a taboo topic to discuss amongst our community? Do you think openness about it would help? If so, how? Have I ever experienced rape? All right. Yes, I have. What was the second portion of this question? Do you think, why do I think it's such a taboo topic? Rape is such a taboo topic simply because it's uncomfortable. People feel as if things that you don't talk about, things that you don't discuss, that are uncomfortable or that don't meet the status quo of acceptable conversation, will kind of like just push it to the back burner. We don't have to think about it. Things that are sight unseen or unheard don't exist. When honestly, I feel as if that notion and that idea is what really breaks down our society as a whole. If we were to discuss and be open about the things that we feel and the things that we're experiencing, we would be able to heal, you know? For years, I never discussed my experience with rape. I was just not open to it. I didn't know how to deal with it. I didn't want to even delve into the space where I had to deal with those types of emotions. It took me a long time to be able to be open enough to discuss the instances where this took place in my life. it took me a while to be okay with the fact that it was my fault. It took me a while to understand that although someone took although I felt as if someone took something from me, they didn't remove me. They didn't take me. It took me a long time to come to the place where I can just be like, you know what? Hey, yeah, I've been a victim of that, but this is how the steps that you have to take to move past it. I'm not saying that I have it all figured out. I'm not saying that I'm perfect by any means. I'm just saying that I know that there's life beyond that. And for those of you who have experienced it out there and have had a hard time dealing with being raped or being molested or having someone attempt to strip pieces of you away, talk to somebody. It's never anything wrong with seeking help, especially if you feel as if you're not mentally stable or you feel as if there's this something that you're carrying around and it's this weight and you feel like you don't know what to do with it. Going and talking to someone who is like, you know, some type of therapist or psychologist or even someone that you just trust and you know that it's between you and them and there's an unjudgmental exchange of information, that way they can help you through those thoughts. It's nothing wrong with that. And for anyone to make you feel like there is something wrong with that, that is something that has to do with them and not you. You do what you need to do for you to be healthy and sound, mind, soul, and body, regardless of what that entails and what anybody else thinks about what you're doing. That's what you need to do. Let me see, what else does this question have? Do I think openness would help? Absolutely. I feel as if anything that you talk about, it just loses its sting that much more. Me sitting here talking about the fact that I've been raped, like, that is, it's for me, saying that makes me feel as if, like, hey, you know, at one point in time, I was vulnerable and someone took advantage of that vulnerability. And the idea of me not being strong or not feeling strong enough to combat that, that's something that I have to deal with, and it does bother me. But I know that talking about it is healing. Being open about it, it's healing. Being transparent about the fact that, hey, you know what, I've experienced that hurt, it can help somebody else. It is not every day that we as women or just even as human beings are allowed to expose the weaknesses of ourselves and the things that we kind of hide in the dark spaces. And I feel as if those things that we hide in dark spaces really eat at us and they really take hold and they become a stronghold in your life, and they can affect you in your relationships, affect you in your everyday family life, as well as your business and your self-confidence as a whole. Being open and being honest about who you are and what you need and what you've experienced, even if it's not just for you, it can help somebody, and it helps you, you know. Being transparent about who you are, it makes life easier. It makes the failures and the high moments, you know, that much greater because you did it in your truth. Oh yes, and if so, how? I think I pretty much explained how, but if you've ever experienced something like that and you're having a hard time with it and you just don't know how to move forward, there's definitely help out there for you. If you need help finding any type of hotlines or anything like that, I'll put the information below, as far as, like, you know, help hotlines and things like that, phone numbers and websites that you can go to. I'll put that information below in the comment box. But even if I know you guys don't know me, but even if you just don't have anybody and you don't want to seek help, you know, my email is lyricpaintedpolaroids@gmail.com. I will respond to you. And we can talk about anything. I'm like one of the most unjudgmental people that you'll ever meet or not meet. But life is more than an instance. It's more than a moment. It's more than a circumstance. Life happens when you choose to move forward and you choose to grow and you choose the happiness and to see the joy of even the saddest times. It takes work, but it's worth it, and you're worth it. Your life means something. Your life is great. Your life is valued, and you are you, and that's your power. There is no one in this world that can do or say or think the way that you do, and that's your gift to the world. So you have to make sure that you share that. So again, this is the Transparency Project, and it's in honor of Aisha Yvonne Marie Morgan, and it's just our way of fighting back. Depression affects more than 15 million Americans. It's easy to be one of those Americans, and most of the time it's unspoken, which is 15 million Americans is 6.7% of the U.S. population that is 18 years or older. So that's a large number, you know. I've dealt with depression for years. And when I first started trying to battle this darkness that seems to want to creep up every now and again, it was hard. And I didn't think I was ever going to see the other side of it, but there is another side. And it takes work, it takes dedication, but you can defeat it too. So start with embracing you, and together let's combat depression one truth at a time. The world needs you, and it needs your story, so you should share it. And just remember, you know, you're never alone. So I'm Tania once again, and this is Transparency Project. Thank you guys for tuning in. Till next time. Later.